What she does is really some really good stuff, and she works with horses, and she's going to tell us what hippotherapy is. Hey, Jamie, thank you for being here today.
Sure. Hippotherapy is basically, it's a form of occupational therapy, and what I do for these children I primarily work with is I am putting them on the horse for their treatment. So I'm giving them movement and trying to reach their goals through activities with the horse.
It must be kind of frightening for some kids who have never been on a horse to get on there. How do you allay their fears of this big animal that they're on? Or is this a natural thing? The kids love to do it.
It's a pretty natural thing for most of the kids. You know, being outside in the environment and being with these animals, there seems to be an instantaneous connection with a lot of the kids. So.
And they get the feel of the horse underneath them.
Absolutely, yep.
Do they understand the control that they have over that horse done properly?
You know, it all depends on the child, but we hope, you know, as we progress them, a lot of my kids, I do teach them to steer and voice commands to communicate with the horse.
And you do some speech in there too. I mean, they learn a little bit there.
They end up doing a little bit of that, as an aside. Yep.
And you're located in Delmar.
Yes, yep. I'm in the town of New Scotland.
Oh, New Scotland, okay. And how many horses do you have?
Currently, we have 4 therapy horses and a donkey.
A donkey? Well, donkeys are good too.
Yep.
Yeah, and do they work at all with the donkeys? Or?
We're getting there. He likes to just come get pet.
Oh, good. And I know we've got some photos that we are showing. I do want to, now tell me, or tell the viewers, what type of children that you work with primarily?
Okay. Typically children with either physical or developmental disabilities. I would say most of my clients are on the spectrum, either autism or Aspergers. But I also have, you know, some children with brain injury or with Down syndrome, children with CP. So there's a wide variety.
And now, how do they come to you? Are they referred, or are you just kind of advertising, or what?
It's been a little bit of everything. It's been a little bit of word of mouth. I've had a lot of case managers that have gotten a hold of me.
Yeah. You're having an open house.
Yes.
Tell us what people, if they're interested, perhaps they have a child that they think would benefit from this. Would this be the time to go on May 5th to see what you have?
Absolutely, absolutely. May 5th from 1 to 3 p.m. We have all the horses out so the kids can kind of see them and touch them, and you get to see what our facility looks like. We have some volunteers around that can answer any of your questions about what we do. Not only do we do the hippotherapy, which is the occupational therapy piece.
How did it get that name? Because that's such an odd name. And I always try and look at the Latin derivation, or how did that name come about?
Yep, hippo is the Greek word for horse. So it's, in essence, horse therapy.
Okay.
So we do the hippotherapy, and we also do therapeutic riding, which is much more a social or recreational kind of activity. So if a child maybe doesn't have occupational therapy needs, but they would still benefit from being around the horse and enjoy that time with the horse, we do that as well.
And I was thinking, like, if you had 2 children and one probably could use the occupational the hippotherapy, but the other one, you know, just would like to be there with them. Will you take both children? Or?
Absolutely. I do regular riding lessons as well.
Oh, that's what I was wondering. So you do regular riding?
Yep, I have a lot of families in that situation.
What got you into hippotherapy? I mean, that seems like out of the blue. I mean, where would that come from? I mean, I've never heard of occupational therapists, and I'm sure they do, but this is the first I've heard of this. So
yeah, I was a lifelong horse person. I've owned horses for almost 20 years.
Okay, so that
that was the horse end of it. And when I got into occupational therapy school, someone mentioned hippotherapy to me, and I did the same thing. What is that? I've never heard of that. And so I delved into it a lot more in school, did my thesis on it, and was lucky enough to find a place that has physical therapists doing hippotherapy locally. So I worked with them for a few years out of school
to get a feel for that.
Get the hang of how it goes.
Is that mainly is it a therapy that can be used by any, like, could a psychologist use that, or I mean, who uses hippotherapy?
Hippotherapy, in its truest form is a physical therapist, occupational therapist, or a speech therapist.
Okay, all right.
There's other people who use what we call equine facilitated activities, and that's where you might see
yes.
a psychotherapist or a social worker come into
and they work
activities.
with them.
Yep.
The children that come, how do they respond? I guess that's what I'm looking for. Is what is their response to this?
They just absolutely love it. I have a little girl who comes to me, and her mom says she pulls in the driveway, and the girl's beaming and excited and starts saying the horse's name. So most of the kids, they really enjoy it, and the weeks that they can't come, they're telling their parents that's where they want to be. Or,
so do they kind of identify with a horse? I mean, in other words, do they get the same horse every time, or is this something you want to expand their knowledge by having different horses or something?
It depends on the child. There are some that get very attached to a particular horse, and if it's a beneficial attachment and I can use that to my advantage to reach their goals, I absolutely try to utilize that. But it's also good for some of these kids who are very used to routine to have it.
Because some of them are very they've got to have the same food, the same this, the same that.
Yep.
We've been talking with Jamie Ellwood, who has, it's called
Positively Playful.
Positively Playful Occupational Therapy. Got it right. And she does have a website, so check out her website. You'll see pictures of the horses there, and I think we've already seen some photos during this interview. It's really a different way of dealing with therapy that might, maybe perhaps you have a child or a grandchild that is having some difficulties, and this would be maybe a different way of pursuing that and getting some positive, that's right, positively playful results. That's wonderful. And Jamie Ellwood would like to remind you that she's having her open house on May the 5th, and that is in Delmar, and it's on 118 Hurst Road in New Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Go to her website, you'll find out more about it. It just might be just the trick that you're going to need to help your kids move along in the process. Jamie, I think what you're doing is really great, and I love horses too, so thank you so much for being here. And thanks your mom for joining you. Hi. Great.